Okay. So, hello everybody. We are now live on YouTube. This is so exciting. Welcome to BPBC's Masterclass with Kebra-Seyoun Charles. I'm going to just give you a little bit more information about Kebra, and then we will open a class um, with Kara Delonas. Okay, so Kebra-Seyoun Charles is a double bassist originally from Miami, Florida. He received his Bachelor of Music degree from the New England Conservatory of Music, where he studied with Todd Seeber and Lawrence Wolfe. Kebra-Seyoun is currently pursuing his Master of Music degree at the Juilliard School under the tutelage of Joseph Conyers. He is also a recipient of the prestigious Jerome L. Greene Fellowship. Growing up the son of an African drummer and dancer, Kebra-Seyoun was exposed to music at a very early age. Early exposure to jazz, gospel, and traditional African music led him to express interest in other forms of music. He now studies classical music passionately and draws influence and inspiration from ostensibly contrasting genres and musicians. In line with his upbringing, Kebra-Seyoun is able to give prominence to the dance qualities in all forms of music. Exhibiting his versatility, Kebra-Seyoun has had the opportunity to play alongside esteemed improviser and composer Tyshawn Sorey. Kebra-Seyoun also played in the Slugs Saloon installation at the Institute of Contemporary Art in Boston, created by famed jazz musician and composer Jason Moran. Kebra-Seyoun is a two-time winner of the Boston Philharmonic Youth Orchestra's concerto competition. He is the winner of the NAACP's ACTSO concerto competition, and he has been featured by Performance Today, Young Arts, and From the Top. In addition to his solo career, Kebra has performed with many different ensembles, including A Far Cry, Boston Philharmonic Orchestra, and Cape Cod Symphony. From 2016 to 2020, he was the principal of the Boston Philharmonic Youth Orchestra's double bass section. This included performances, excuse me, my screen kind of went dark. This included performances in Boston Symphony Hall, Harvard Sanders Theater, Vienna's Mozarteum, Berlin's Concerthaus, and Amsterdam's Concertgebouw. Kebra-Seyoun has twice played as a fellow of the Tanglewood Music Center Orchestra. And without further ado, I would love to introduce Kebra to Kara. Thanks so much for being here today, and thanks so much for playing.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. Great to meet you, Kara. So we spoke a little bit before, but would you tell me about where you are going to school, what you're playing, and anything you want to say about it?
I graduated from Bachelor. So I'm not sure right now. So right now I'm just doing but I haven't really been taking lessons or doing anything like that. Yeah, so I'm just a bit rusty right
now. Okay. Well, and you're playing which piece for us again?
The second movement of the second Bottesini bass concerto.
Gotcha. For everybody that doesn't know that piece, it is beautiful, and I'm sure we're gonna hear a beautiful rendition. All right, take it away, Kara.
Okay.
Bravo! Amazing. That was great.
Yeah.
So, Kara, tell me about what were you thinking when you played that? How did you experience that? Just tell us about what you were thinking about when you were playing it.
I mean, I was so nervous. It definitely did not go as well as the last time I practiced it, but yeah, I always get nervous doing master classes. So I think it went better than I expected to. I mean, I know there were some intonation problems, and I'm always trying to think about my bow hand, but like in the moment, I don't know, I'm just very nervous right now. So I know it wasn't the best I could have done, but like yeah.
Well, I thought it was great. I in relations to doing our best, that's never gonna happen. I'm sorry to say, we're never gonna be able to play perfectly or as perfect as we sounded in the practice room. But I think that being said, we can get as close to perfect as humanly possible by practicing a lot. So I think you're putting in the work. So musically, so the first thing that comes to mind when thinking of this piece is the term opera buffa. Do you know what that means? So So opera buffa was an Italian opera style in which it's pretty much just a huge comedic. Imagine a musical Adam Sandler movie. That's pretty much what opera buffa is supposed to be. So the first movement, and this is thinking in terms of the entire piece. The first movement is, this very jaunty and self-assured character. And then how would you describe the second movement?
More lyrical, I guess, like a more calm moment.
Right, lyrical and calm. So another important thing to note before we start playing is, do you know when the bass starts playing?
In this movement?
Yeah. So what I'm getting at is, do we have a huge introduction, or do we have kind of a short, or do we start playing at the beginning?
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Oh, that's my bad. I'm saying, when does the bass start in relation to the rest of the orchestra in the second movement?
A few bars after they start.
Right. We have a pretty big intro, so I think we have a lot to ride off of. So it's this very soft and enveloping string melody, and then we come in kind of under the radar. So could you try and play the opening phrase in what you would consider under the radar?
Okay. Should I stop there?
Yeah, that's perfect. So let's try this. So ba da da ya da 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 dee. So this time let's try and thinking about. And by the way, it was great. Under the radar, I heard it. So this time, why don't we try and give the phrases a destination? So, for example, here I'll play something really quickly. For example, the opening of this piece, I would say goes like this. Do you know what I'm saying? What did you notice in the way that I played it?
I feel like you utilized silence a little bit more than I did.
Silence, right. So how do you think that you could fit that in your playing?
I don't know how to explain it. Like it was.
You know what? Why don't you play it? Why don't you try and show us what you're thinking of?
Okay.
Yeah, that was perfect. So where we just stop now is what I would consider kind of a phrase ending moment. So So do you see what I'm saying? There's kind of this motive of the dee da 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 dee. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
Why don't you play the first half and then go into the second half?
Okay. I might have to change some of the fingerings I was doing.
Of course, you can experiment however you'd like.
Okay. So.
beautiful. I think that you could take that kind of direction that I was talking about, I think you could take it to the next level. Why don't you try it a little bit from the ending section, and then just give us an extreme version of that.
Extreme version of that? Okay. Kind of like that?
Yeah. So what I'm thinking more of is the can you just play the A D? See if you can bring that out. It might be Zoom, but
or should I keep going?
try that again and put a little bit of space in between it. So kind of like, have you ever seen a helicopter land? Have you? Okay, so it's kind of like hovering and then it's kind of a graceful landing. It's not very, it's not ham-fisted. It's kind of seamless, if you will. Try that. Perfecto. Perfect. Okay, let's go on to the next section. So, where do you think the climax of this piece is?
Let me think. I don't know. I feel like there's actually a couple.
That's a great observation. So, in my opinion, in my interpretation of this piece, and this is for everybody listening, I'm no authority on this piece. I just play and I really like music. So my opinion is that there are a couple of like trick endings, and that's actually something very common in this piece. So the first ending, in my opinion, is where it goes. And then it goes on, and it goes on again. So there's that ending. The second ending, where it restates the theme. Could you play that for us? I forgot exactly what comes before it, but like two measures where it's kind of like the turn.
This part?
Yes. So play that as if you were ending the piece, and then once you hit the E major thing, kind of, it's like you're telling the audience, hey, I'm just joking. There's like maybe 2 more minutes to go. So try that.
Okay.
And that's the restatement of the theme, everybody. Could you play just play the theme again for us so we can hear it? Cool. So, a little bit about that section that you just played. When you're going up, I think this is one of those times when you're going up in the scale, it actually mirrors the amount of intensity. So you can start soft. try that for us? Good. Sorry. If I was in person, then I would be gesturing to kind of back away from that. So dee da da dee da 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 dee da. So in this section, and just to surmise everything that we talked about, there's kind of a fake ending, and then we go on. So could you play this section in mind, and think of a huge fireworks show, and then kind of a fake out at the end, if you will.
So starting from the same spot.
Sorry, you can keep playing. I was just trying to figure out what your fingerings were, and I wanted to address something. So could you play that? Dee da da dee da.
I don't know what I'm doing as far as fingering there. I'm kind of,
That's okay. That's okay.
yeah, so.
So, Kara, that was wonderful. I think that you can commit even more to that idea you had in the last section where you slowed down. This is kind of, and I think you and I both share the same idea with this part in da 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 da. Do you see what I'm saying? So could you put into words maybe what that felt like, or if you can't put into words, you can play it.
I just feel like it's starting to, it slows down before it goes back to the theme. Just, it's kind of like a break for the listeners, I guess, to to get ready for the next half of the piece, I guess.
Yeah, and in relation, if we're gonna relate it to opera buffa, it's kind of like an intermission of sorts, Right. So, why don't you take it from that part, the yeah da 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 da, and then go on again. And this time, why don't you try playing the theme with, maybe a little bit of a different energy. I don't know what that might feel to you, but something to differentiate it from the first time that we heard it.
Sorry, I think I want the second half to be a little bit louder.
Okay. So the first half is the first time you play it is. Do you mind if I try and play it for you and maybe get what you're saying? So you want the first half to go. Right? And then you want the second half to go.
you're following the orchestra, so you want to kind of come in smoothly, but in the second half, you're following what you had been playing before. So I feel like I can be a little bit more louder in that area, or a little more confident in that spot.
I totally agree with that. That's a great idea. So logistically, how can we go from a very soft sound to a very loud sound?
You have to crescendo into it.
Crescendo. I'm talking like just where on the bass does this happen?
I don't know.
Cool. So we're going. So when we're playing softer, or at least when I play softer, I play a little bit closer to the fingerboard. Here, let me move the camera down a bit. So actually, I'll start from the so. So do you see that movement? I moved my bow down as I wanted a louder sound and a more concentrated sound. Can you try that?
Sorry, where should I start from?
Wherever you want. A little bit before the second theme.
Should I keep going?
So something that will aid in what you're trying to do, which is kind of create this big open Pavarotti-esque sound, is what you should do is probably lengthen the phrase in your bow. Right now you're still kind of playing with the same bow length and movement as you were when you were in the beginning, but this is you want a louder section here. So I would suggest kind of using a fuller bow and maybe taking a little bit of time. Don't write your own piece, but yeah, take some time.
Let me try.
Hold on one second. So could you play that a little bit slower? I think it'll aid in what you're trying to do. So yada yada da yada da dee, and then go into tempo there.
Sorry.
That was perfect. I think you got it. Okay, so the last section of the piece. Could you play that for us? Could you just play from there till the end?
Just stopped?
Yes, where you stopped. Sorry to stop you. Remember to play with a longer bow, kind of get a larger, more spacious sound, if you will.
Okay.
Okay, we can stop there. So, great job. I think. So, do you think there's another example of this like false ending here in what you just played? And where do you think it is?
Fine. It's after that high. Oh, yeah, after that. Right there, right?
That is definitely one, and there's one even before that.
Wait.
So the other ending is right here. And then we back off again. I forgot the note. Right? So let's play that with that in mind again. From the
Wait, let me do that one more time.
Perfect. So I think that this part that where we stopped at is definitely the lightest and most transparent part. It would probably be it feels like kind of an emotionally sedated moment. Could you play those notes for me again?
Wait, I'm sorry, what part?
Where it goes dee da 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 dee dee da.
I don't know why I can't find it. Oh, okay. Can I start a little bit before that?
Of course. Okay, stop for 1 second. What is that right there? We talked about it a bunch. Yeah, it's another false ending because after that we go and that's the ending. Right? So play that again. Give us just like kind of try and trick the listener even if you will.
Did I go from the same spot I was in before?
Try a little bit later. Try from the Perfect. So can you play those last notes as if they were quite literally the icing on the cake? You know, we finally ended on you know, the listener hears, okay, something cool is gonna happen. You know, and so the listener is very relaxed, and they feel that the piece has concluded finally. So what this ending part is, right? So that's just like a little bit. That's quite literally icing on the cake. So play it like that if you think so. That was great. Try slowing down slightly at the end and kind of placing the last note. Can you play those last four notes? Cool. Okay. So, before we play the entire piece again, I just want to talk about dynamics, right? So that's a huge part, and the only reason I can say this is because all my teachers have relentlessly told me that I need to put more dynamics in my pieces. So, I think that adding some dynamics into these moments will bring this piece to the next level. Would you agree with that? What are you thinking in terms of dynamics, and how are you drawing a distinction between, you know, parts of the pieces?
Honestly, I haven't really thought about dynamics as much beyond what's just on the paper, but usually I try to make the slower parts a little bit softer, and obviously, like, when the notes are going up, it should be getting louder, and when the notes are going down, it should be getting softer. So,
right, and that is the basic tenet of dynamics. So in this piece, and in all pieces, but this one specifically, the dynamics are pretty straightforward. But I think, and for those of us that have never read the sheet music of this, you know, we get the standard mezzo forte, forte, piano, and that's not too much to work with. We don't really have a lot of information to work with. So that's where we as musicians get to improvise. Don't tell the classical police I said this, but we are allowed to improvise some things on the spot as musicians. So, and that's leading into saying, you know, within the color of piano, there are so many gradients. You know, like many things, you know, dynamics aren't, you know, simply a binary. They're not, you know, loud, soft. You know, it's just a gradient. Here, I'll play one note, and I'll demonstrate, you know, going from, you know, very soft to what I would consider really loud, at least in solo playing. Right, so we have a whole bunch of colors and a whole bunch of sounds accessible to ourselves, especially as bass players. So why don't you try and play around with that in this last run through, and then, yeah, and then we'll call it a day. And yeah, it's been great working with you, but I'm excited to hear this finished product. Of sorts, you know what I say. But yeah, okay.
Okay.
Bravo, that was perfect. I loved it. Thank you so much for playing. I think we really made some progress. I really heard the and I heard your especially that last time you went That was great. So does the audience have any questions that they'd like to ask? Sam, if you want to be in charge of asking or fielding the questions, opening the chat.
You got it. So far, we don't have any, but I will keep you updated.
Cool. So I'll take while people are. Oh, okay. So what are some exercises to lengthen the phrase using the bow? So I think when I was first starting out, one of my upperclassmen at school gave me this cool game to play. So we divided my bow in half, and then I had to fit in, for example, if I was playing, quarter notes at, let's say, 60 BPM, I would go da da, and by the time I was halfway through, I would be halfway at the bow. And so, using a metronome and kind of slowing down your practice to get a greater control and understanding of really how long your bow is and how it works on your instrument would give you a good understanding of how much bow you would need in a certain part of the piece. Yeah. I hope that answers the question. Did you have any questions, Kara?
Actually, you answered a lot of my questions. It's like you kind of like read my mind with all the questions I had for this particular piece. So.
So what were you? Yeah. Can you tell me what those questions were, just so I can know?
More musical, because I record myself playing a lot, and I feel like even if intonation is good and rhythm and everything else is good, I can't get it to not sound robotic. Like I feel like I need to work on making things more musical, and I feel like you gave me a lot of really good tips for that. So.
Right. And you know what also helps? So I think relating music back to our bodies and ourselves is a great way to kind of enhance the musicality. So in technical terms, singing or dancing to the music would help you get a better understanding of what that music really is saying, what it means. You know what I mean? Yeah. And yeah, I think if nobody has any questions, Kara doesn't have any questions, then that was a great masterclass. Thank you so much for playing. Thank you, BPPC, BC, my bad, for hosting this awesome masterclass and giving me the opportunity to play with such a great player.
Well, yeah, thank you so much, both Kebra and Kara. We're so happy to be able to have you. Before we totally wrap, I want to just, for any kind of last minute questions, I also have a couple of dates to let you all know about. I have Schroeder here to keep me company. He very much enjoyed the class, but now he's moody. So we have a couple of really, really great things coming up very, very soon. On Friday, June 25th, we have a workshop with Sophia Bass and Michael Martin, and they're going to be working on a new premiere that we are actually going to be premiering the very next day on June 26th on Saturday at 7:30. So that is definitely not to be missed. Really, really exciting new music as always. And that's also going to be kind of closing out our month-long festivities. So we would love to see you all there. Thank you all so much for attending, especially those in the Zoom. It has been so nice to see all of you. And if there's nothing else, I think we can call it an evening. Thank you all so much. Thank you to Kebra. Thank you to Kara. Both of you sound absolutely fantastic. Really inspiring class.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Oh, I wanted to just very quickly before we are also in the middle of our fundraising drive, and we're trying to um, hit $15,000. So we're still kind of working on it, but we would much every last dollar counts. So um, any kind of oh, it covers back. um, Kebra, sorry, I just wanted to make sure that we we're
Sorry.
talking about our fundraiser really quickly. So sorry, I kind of jumped the gun a little bit, but please consider donating. It's very simple. It's just bass players for blackcomposers.com/support us. We would love for you to be able to become a donor. There's some exciting merch things that you are able to get if you donate. So that's all. Other than that, have a wonderful evening. Thank you both, and thank you to everybody who attended today.